One of the areas that we've overlooked is reaching men early. We often wait for men to call the agency, come in, or for police to identify them, or courts to identify them. But one of the things we haven't done is use the wealth of knowledge in marketing to actually do some social marketing to reach out and reach men who don't know about services, men who are ambivalent about seeking services or help for their problems. And we need to do a lot more marketing to reach them and get them to come in and make some changes in their lives.
We have good legal mechanisms for forcing people to engage in certain kinds of risk management activities. We can tell people that they have to report to the police on bail, or that they have to report to a bail supervisor, or to a probation officer if they're on probation, or a parole officer. We can force them to attend certain types of classes or programs. We can force them to attend for assessment and even to consider treatment for mental health problems, although there's some limits on what we could force people to receive in terms of treatment activities. We have those legal mechanisms, but what we often do is stop there and think, well, this is all that I can force people to do. And we stop thinking about the fact that men who batter are men with problems. They're men who are having problems in living. They're screwed up, they're making bad decisions, and they're often looking for help. Many of them are very ambivalent, and if we actually, instead of forcing them to do certain things, try to engage them positively, to motivate them to participate in activities and show them the possible benefits for them, for their relationships, by improving their lives, they'll have to make better decisions. So we can rely too much on forcing people into things and not enough on actually trying to demonstrate to people or motivate them to participate willingly and voluntarily.
We've found that by using those kind of what are called motivational enhancement procedures, we do engage men early and we get them to seek treatment before they would have been reached by police or much more expensive types of interventions through our social services or the court system.
The Caring Dads program is an intervention program designed for fathers who've abused or neglected their children or who have exposed their children to abuse of their mothers. Men initially come to the program usually as a result of a referral from either child protection services or probation services. So usually they're externally mandated to attend. At that point, we use a strategy called motivational interviewing, which is a very powerful strategy to promote change. Essentially, what it means is that we try to work with men where they're at to develop their own motivation to work towards a goal or a change that seems meaningful to them.
One of the benefits of the Caring Dads program is it's a community-based initiative. So we have a number of partner organizations that work with us: Child Protection Services, Probation Services, Women's Advocacy Services. So when a high-risk offender is in our program and is identified, what we generally try to do is bring together representatives from those organizations to help develop a community-based response to support all the other members of the family while we're working with him.
The Caring Dads program has 4 goals. The first goal of the program is to engage men in the process of thinking about their fathering and the process of change. What we find is that most of the men who attend the program are not initially ready or motivated to change. They often see their children as the problem or their children's mother as the problem and blame them for their past behavior. The second goal of the program is to develop something that we call child-centered fathering. What this essentially means is that we're working with men to help them examine the attitudes that underlie their fathering behaviors and to shift their priorities. So for many of these men, decisions that are being made around their interactions with their children and their children's mothers have to do with meeting their own needs and place high value on their own needs and ideas and wants as a dad rather than on the needs of children. The third goal of the program is to confront men about their past use of abusive behavior, both towards their children and towards their children's mothers. So what we find at this point is that men now have a better sense of what it means to be a healthy father. They have motivation to engage in those behaviors, and they're starting to do some things that are better for their children and for their children's mothers. So at this point, what we want to do is help fathers understand the impact of their past abusive behavior, understand what brought them to, or led them to make a choice to be abusive, and then help them develop strategies to change those abusive behaviors. So the fourth goal of the program is to help men think about what realistic expectations for their future might be. And this goal also has to do with thinking about the man and his interaction with the entire family. One of the important principles underlying the Caring Dads program is that as a result of men's participation, children should benefit, regardless about whether or not men do or do not change. So at this point, we're really taking a look at how men are interacting with their families, where they've been able to make change and where they haven't, and helping him, as well as other family members and other system members, think about what's needed to make sure that the children are safer as a result of him being in this program.
We need to also look at the responsibility that men have in our communities. And one of the programs that we have worked on is called Kishe Anishnabnin, which means I am a kind man. And so we have programs that are available to men. We're using that as a resource, just as an example, as a resource where we can really go through a teaching process with men and to remove really many of the patriarchal kinds of ideas that have come into our communities and to go back to our original practices.